welcome to our video on division. So today we're going to look at what division is. Then in future videos we will look at different methods that you can use when doing your division questions. So let's start by looking at the language of division. If you've seen our previous video on multiplication, we looked at the fact that the numbers in a multiplication question have different names, and the same applies to division. So we're going to look at the three parts of a division question. We're going to give each part a different name, and you're going to have to learn those names so that you can remember the different order in which we have to do a division question. So we're going to start with the number that we are going to divide. So our big total, our big number that we start with. Okay? And this is known as our dividend. Okay? Our dividend. So that's the number that we start with. When we divide, we use the division symbol. And the number that we divide by is known as our divisor. So we're going to divide by 6, then our divisor is 6. The answer to a division question is known as our quotient. So that is our answer. So we start with a number, we divide it by another number, and we get our answer. So our dividend divided by our divisor will give us the quotient. So how do we do this division? How do we think about division? Okay, now division can be thought about in two ways. One way is sharing. So we're going to start by looking at how we might use sharing in order to do a division question. Okay, now sharing means exactly what the word is there to represent, and that is that you're going to share out your dividend. Okay, now when you share things out, if you imagine that you've got sweets and you've got lots of friends, you want to share those sweets out, you start by giving each person one sweet, and then you keep going until either you've run out or you've decided they've got enough. So the idea is sharing works in exactly the same way, okay, when we do it with numbers on paper. So when we're going to do sharing, let's say we've got the number 54, and we're going to share it into 6 groups. So we're going to have the question so let's imagine that we've got 54 sweets, and we're going to share them between 6 people. So our question, our division question, is 54 divided by 6. We are taking 54 sweets, sharing them between those 6 different people. Okay? So what we could do is we could draw a circle that represents each of our 6 people. Okay? Now each of those 6 people, if you like, has got a plate in front of them, and we're going to share out the sweets. So all we would have to do is, with our 54, is we would have to go through and place one on each plate. Okay? Clearly, we've got more than 6 sweets, so we would repeat that and repeat that until we've run out of sweets. Now the hope would be that with a question like this, you would have exactly the right number of sweets, okay, and that you would have a certain number left on each plate, and that answer, that number on each plate, would be your quotient, okay, and that would give you your answer, okay, and the answer for this question, if we haven't worked it out, is 9. So the idea is you would have 9 left on each plate, so each person would have 9 sweets, okay. So we've got our dividend, which is our 54, and we are dividing it by our divisor, which is 6. And by using sharing, we are sharing between 6 people, or 6 items. Okay, so that's our sharing. How does division differ if we use something called grouping? Well, let's have a look. Now, while sharing was all about taking your total, your dividend, and giving it out one at a time, grouping is all about taking the divisor and saying, right, that's the size of my group. So this time, if we were using the same question, what we would be saying is, our divisor this time is how big our group is going to be. So we're going to take out a group of 6. So we're going to take out, if you like, 6 of those sweets. What we're going to do is we're going to keep doing that. So we're going to create another group of 6. Okay, we're going to keep taking groups of 6 out until we run out, until we've got rid of all 54 of our sweets. And again, obviously, we already know that the answer is 9, so there we'll end up with 9 groups of 6. Okay, so each group of 6 is taken away from your 54 until you've run out of sweets. So we end up with 9 groups of 6. Okay, so last time, if you think about it, we had 6 people who all had 9 sweets. This time, we've got 9 groups of 6 sweets. So it's a different method for doing the same question.